Hi everyone, so today's video we're going to cover off the Keb pants, these trekking pants by Fjallraven, following on from last week's review of the Keb jacket. Okay, so I'll put that aside, but essentially if you remember the Keb jacket, the Fjallraven Keb pants is pretty much the same thing on the same basis, i.e. I'll run through the features with you very quickly, so you know what they consist of, and then I'll run back over the features and we'll look at pros and cons of each and what's used. I've had these pants for just going on a year now, and I've used them quite a lot. So the material, if you come in a bit closer, you can see the fit. I'll come back to the fit in a minute, but the material is this kind of stretch material, a sort of mixture of polyester and cottons and so forth, breathable and stretchy, very, very comfortable. Okay, and that goes sort of around the front here, around the groin area and the back of the knee, so that you've got plenty of stretch. Okay, then you've got the G1000, the sort of heavy duty kind of G1000 outdoor canvas, and that's around the front and bottom of the leg, so that you've got plenty of protection and the pockets, and then of course around the back side over there. Okay, so that's what the material is, very, very similar or the same as the Keb jacket. Alright, so features, we'll start at the top. So with the exception of the belt, there's no belt included. You've got a little a little button at the top there, with another button on the inside and a straightforward zip. Okay, and that's it. So I like to wear a belt. I just happen to have the Keb belt as well, which is very good. We'll look at that at another time. Two straightforward pockets, nice stretch material, so comfortable, you can get your hands in them. And on the belt here, on the belt loops, there's plenty of belt loops going all the way around. There's a little loop on either side, which is handy for, in this case I've got a small pocket knife here, and I use it to connect my lanyard so that I don't lose my pocket knife. Quite often when I'm out trekking, I use gloves, and I like to, with my Hestra gloves, I clip them on to that little loop. You can see it's not the easiest thing to clip onto, because it's kind of, the loop is kind of flat, but it works. Okay, you can clip it on and you can get your gloves from there. So two handy little loops. I only use the one for my knife. Then two pockets, two basic large side pockets. The first on the left leg has a zip, so really good for putting small things in there. Okay, and it zips closed with two studs. On the other side, exactly the same thing, except it doesn't have a zip. It's just straight in with the hand. Okay, two press studs. All right. Then we go down the side of the pant, and at the side here you've got a zip, zips up, and at the bottom of the leg a zip that zips down, and that is to give you ventilation. You can see my leg through there, a bit white at the top, but nevertheless plenty of ventilation on the leg. Okay, up here on the knee there is an area for a knee pad. Okay, and so I'll come back to that in a second. You can put a bit of material in there for a knee pad. At the bottom of the pant over here, you've got a hook system, so you can hook it onto your lace so that your pant doesn't ruck up. And you've got this adjustment system, which I love. I think this is a great system. You can adjust it, the hem or the, I don't know what you call it, the cuff of your pant, and make it tighter, right? So it can fit around. Or if you're wearing a boot, you can expand it, open it up, and place it around your boot. So that if you're hiking in dry conditions, you don't get grass and muck getting into your shoes. And also it prevents the whole thing from just coming up your leg in wet weather and in bad weather. Okay, so let's very quickly go over the features and benefits of the pros and cons of each of these features. Now I'll come to size, because I'm about 94 kilos, I'm 6 foot. My build, I'm endomorphic, so I'm quite stocky, I'm quite muscular. I have a big backside and I have short muscular legs. I've got quite big legs, almost what most people would call rugby player legs, and that can be a problem. These pants are perfect. Okay, now when I bought them, I went to the retailer and I got some advice from him. I told him my build and he suggested I get a size up. So I'm a 36, usually a little bit smaller, I'm a pretty slender waist, and he suggested a 38. So these are 38. Now you'll see they are essentially too big for me. I'd be perfectly comfortable in a 36. Okay, so just putting that out there, a 36 would do fine, and they are super comfortable. With the stretch material here, it's not a problem bending over, getting down on your knees, moving around, climbing up things, getting your legs over onto rocks or standing or doing whatever you need to do. There's plenty of stretch here, so get your size, okay? What I would pay attention to though is leg length. I've got short legs, so for me regular is about as much as I can go, and they make these pants long. The reason they make them long is so that when you kneel down, the pant doesn't ruck up your leg. Okay, so kneeling there, I've got plenty of movement, plenty of material around my legs, but I'm still connected at the bottom around my shoe or around my boot, and that's why they make them so long. So if you're buying the long, and they're going to be very long. So if you're like 6'2", get the long. If you're 6 foot under, get the regular and expect them to be a bit long, but that's a good thing. Okay, so straightforward pockets, nothing to be said there. Straightforward belt system, zip, no problem there. The pockets, very, very useful, because when you're hiking, you always got a whole lot of crap that you've got to carry with you. Be it sweets, map, compass. I usually keep my map, compass in the top pockets of my Keb jacket, but certainly here I will have, I don't know, at the moment I've got a hanky in here. There is a little mesh area where you can slide your phone, so I usually slide my phone in there. That's quite handy, and I'll have some bits and pieces in there. On the other side, I like to put all my small items. I usually have lip balm, eye drops, a small little headlight, small items, and they can fit in there. That way, if I take my pants off at night when I'm in camp, they don't all come sliding out. Cash as well, card or anything like that you want, because you've got a zip area, so it's nice and secure, okay, and then it doubles over with a clip. The pockets, you'll notice, are not at the side of the leg, they're at the front of the leg. And this is something that is, I think, I stand to be corrected, but I think it's unique to Fjallraven, and it's a great feature. I love it. It just feels better than having them on the sides. It's more comfortable, it feels right as well, and it's just easier to access. I can just pull it up, hand straight down, as opposed to coming around to the side over here. So it just feels really well thought through. So pockets, great, and you want those pockets. The next thing I'm going to talk about are these knee pads. Now there is a slot there, you don't have to put a knee pad in, but I have. For the first few months that I used these, I never used a knee pad, and I kneel a lot. So when I'm in camp and I'm sitting at my tent or I'm cooking, I'm always on my knees. Quite often if I'm sitting having a sandwich, I kneel down for some reason. I don't know, I'm just more comfortable doing that. And then I did a big trek in Sweden and I decided to put knee pads in, and boy, it was a saviour. So I recommend it. All I've done, I've taken an old, real cheap little mat, camping mat like that, cost £3 or £4, and I just cut a bit of foam. It's a few millimeters thick. It's not, I mean, you can take it as thick as you want. That suited me just fine. The fact that it's got foil on the one side means it retains a little bit of heat as well. And all I did is I took that and I just stuffed it inside this pocket over here, which runs from the side of the leg, the knee there, to the side of the knee, top and bottom. Okay, so it's a nice big square. That is approximately the size of it there, right? And that knee pad sits in there, and this is what it looks like. And you can see I've got knee pads, and when I stand, you can see there's a slight little bulb there where there's a knee pad. My recommendation is you don't need to buy the Fjallraven knee pads. They are very nice, worth every penny, but that'll do just fine. Believe me, I'm pretty rigorous on this stuff. Okay, so that's the knee pads. And the final thing is this connector, this adjuster at the bottom. I find these brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Good quality studs, really easy to use. If I take my shoes off and I'm in camp, then what happens is if they are set to large, because the pants are long, they come round down my heels and get under my heels, so they irritate me. So what I can do, if I've got my camp shoes on or my flip-flops, I can then just adjust them up, and then they sit like that around my ankle and they don't go past my heel. Alright, but again, when I put my boots on, I can then just adjust it down really quickly and simply like that, and they're nice and large again to go around my boot. Okay, and then there's a clip over here which I can then just clip over my lace or under my lace, and what that does is it secures it to my shoe or my boot. Really practical, very functional. When you're out hiking, it works, and it works beautifully. Okay, so the Keb trekking pants. Oh, and one other thing I didn't mention were the vents on the side. Hey, good thing I remember this, because this is key. Boy, when you're trekking in these things, like when you're up in Sweden and the Arctic in the summertime, you have very changeable weather. Here in the UK, very changeable. We're nearing the end of September now, we're well into autumn. Beautiful sunny days, you can see. I got my work jacket on because it's pretty chilly. I've got a fleece on as well, pretty chilly. But when you're out hiking and you're sweating, you're in the sun, you start sweating, you're constantly changing and you're venting your clothes. You're unzipping stuff, you're zipping stuff up, you're putting your neck up and then you're putting it down again, and so it goes on. But these, because you've got long pants, you can just unzip them at the top, unzip them at the bottom, and you get that ventilation, and you can use any combination. I've used it a lot and it works beautifully. In Sweden I was hiking with merino armadillo long johns on, and they were absolutely fantastic. So this is a great system and highly recommended. Okay, so that's it guys. I've done that as quickly as I possibly can, and I've been as direct as I can. Next review is going to be on the Keb fleece, the Keb fleece. That's this version here, but this is a slightly different version, but it's the same sort of material, it's the same sort of product. That's going to be the next review. Okay, so we see you then. NOMAD out.